In this tutorial, we're going to be discussing setting up an order so that you can send leads to a client or a specific destination. And to do that, we're going to go to Clients, we're going to click Browse, and in this case we have Customer A, and we will go over here to More Options, Send Leads. And the first thing you're going to want to choose is how you want to deliver the leads. The first option is simply download a file. The second is set up a live feed. The third is priority order, which means lists that you have set up as priority lists. There's also a one-time batch post where you can send large amounts of data via an API, or bidding order, which is similar to priority, where if you have lists that you created and that are set up as bidding orders, you can have those specific lists available for you below when you choose bidding order here. But for this example, let's use live feed. It's the most common. And the first thing you want to choose when you choose live feed is the integration. In this case, back office is set up by default. If you had custom integrations for this client or this destination, you would choose it here. The cutoff date, you would choose when you want the leads to start from. And if this is, real time, great. Or in this case, when you click on it, it takes you to midnight. It's going to pull all those leads through from that point up into real time, and then it would deliver them as they come in. When the lead turns, this is, do you want to have the leads go out as they come in, or do you want to have them on a delay? Daily cap, you can choose how many leads you want them to get daily. And post status, I always leave this paused. I create the order, set it up, and then after that's done, I go back in and I double check all my work before I make it active. Post start time, this is a circumstance where if you want to start delivering leads in the future but want to set the order up now, you could choose a future date where this order will kick in and start sending leads. How frequently do you want to post out? You can choose every 15 minutes where it'll pick up leads and post them out to the order, or you can do once daily. Now, if you were to choose priority or bidding, it is a true live real-time circumstance. Under the live feed, it is every 15 minutes, and if you would need this changed, you can just contact your sales rep so that it can be more frequent if you desire. Are these leads for testing purposes? The answer is yes or no. This is for accounting, so that when you're looking at reports and you see a circumstance where leads went to a client, there's no money tied to it, and then you realize, okay, it's a test. How many leads are you ordering? This is where you can have an overall cap for the order. So if you want to say, okay, you have a daily cap of this, but I don't want him to get more than 1,000 leads, or I don't want more than 1,000 leads going to this destination, then you can set it up there. If there's any price associated with this circumstance, you can create a price here. Pick lead fields. This is where you choose what fields or variables you want to post to your destination or your client. Field selection strictness. If this is checked, it will only ever attempt to send a lead on this order if at a minimum these fields are available. So if for some reason a lead comes in to your system, there's no IP, but this order requires IP, that lead will never even be attempted. Now, if you uncheck this and you have the same boxes checked, but that lead that just came into your system, which doesn't have an IP, well, now that it's on loose, is what I call it, it will at least attempt to send a lead even though there's only 4 of the 5. So if you do strict, it'll never send a lead unless it has a minimum of all these. Loose, if any of these are missing, it's still going to attempt the lead. Next, you want to choose the list or lists that you're going to send to this destination. In this case, it's going to be this one. You can have as many as you like. All right, now client dedupe. How many days back do you want to dedupe? The client dedupe is different than importing leads into your list. You can dedupe leads when you import into the system, but you can also dedupe on a client level. So if your client or your destination has 5 different orders for 5 different lists or whatever the circumstance is, you get to choose if you send any duplicates and how far back you go. No limit means you'll never send a duplicate on this specific order up and have it compare to everything you've ever sent them. So we'll say 90 days. DNC scrub. If you have this option set up in your system, you'll have the ability to use the national DNC list to scrub against. And scheduling. For scheduling, you get to choose what days of the week this order is going to send leads and what times of the day. If you leave these on 0 and leave all these checked, it'll be a 24-hour, 7-day a week. Custom fields. If you decide that in this circumstance you do want to pass custom fields, you would choose that here. Countries. Are there any country restrictions? We'll say for this order is US only. Area codes. You have the option of either only sending specific area codes, or you have the option of excluding specific area codes. So in this case, we'll leave that blank. Same with zip codes. You can include and only send specific zip codes, or you can exclude. Exclude email service providers. Include, which is where maybe you're sending to a specific email service provider and you only want to send yahoo.com related leads. You would put that there and it'll only send Yahoo. And obviously the opposite was the one we just discussed where you could exclude, where if you're sending your leads into an ESP and none of the Yahoos are getting inboxed, well, just exclude them. There's no point in sending them to an email service provider if they can't get delivered. Gender, if you have preferences there, you can choose it here. State, same as zip code. You can filter by custom fields. You can filter by offer URL, and that circumstance is relevant when you have multiple different offers coming into one list. We recommend that you create a new list for each offer or for each opt-in page you have. But if for some reason there's a bunch coming into one spot, you would be able to sort and filter them here and only send the one that you want. Block domains. If you have blocked domains that you want to have applied against this order, you can. And then lead locking. This is a circumstance where you can disregard locks, where if a lead in the lead rules, when you set it up in the system, for example, let's say the lead rules were sell the lead once or have the lead leave once and then lock it for 3 days. Well, if there's a circumstance where you need to still get that lead, but it's locked because it went out one time, you can disregard it there. And then this option here, see preview only, will give you a snapshot of how many leads are available based on all of the criteria you've selected. And if you uncheck this, you then have the ability to create your order. A new live post has been created. So let's go check that out. And as I mentioned, I always start every order on pause. And the reason I started on pause is because what I'll do is I set this up as a live post. Okay, created, integrations, the back office. I double check everything. Over here is the wrench where you can modify the order and you can see the post status is paused. And you can slowly come down through here and check all of your settings. Make sure everything that you want is correct. You're sending the right fields. You have the right list chosen. And when you're 100% certain that everything's exactly the way it's supposed to be, you can then make it active and available to receive leads. And that's how you set up an order. If you have any questions for us, just get in touch with your sales rep. Thank you.